Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. There's a special kind of betrayal that hits differently when it comes from someone who should absolutely know better. Today in the rLounge, the petty is hot and ready. Up first, sharing a roof is one thing, but sharing a closet is another. Am I the a-hole for getting my sister arrested after she destroyed my clothes? So I, 24 female, live with my younger sister, 21 female, while we both save up for our own places. It's been mostly fine, but lately she's been acting super jealous and petty over the dumbest stuff, especially my clothes. I work a decent job and I like fashion. I save up and occasionally treat myself to nice things. Think Zara, Abercrombie, nothing outrageous, but definitely stuff she doesn't buy herself. She constantly borrows my clothes without asking. I've asked her to stop multiple times, even put a lock on my closet door, which she broke. Last week was the final straw. I came home from work and found a pile of my clothes, my favorite leather jacket, some designer jeans, a silk dress I wore once, all shredded and slashed up on the floor, like someone went full slasher movie on them. My heart dropped. I asked her what happened and she just smirked and said, "Maybe now you'll stop acting like you're better than everyone else." I completely lost it. I called the police and filed a report. She thought I was bluffing until the cops actually showed up. I showed them the damage, the receipts for the clothes, I kept most of them for returns or resale, and the broken closet lock. She was arrested for property damage. Now my parents are freaking out, saying I took it too far and that she's just a kid and family shouldn't call the cops on each other. But I've had enough. This wasn't an accident or a dumb prank. This was straight up malicious. So, am I the a-hole for pressing charges against my own sister? Update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the feedback on my original post. A lot has happened since then, so here's an update. After my sister's arrest, she was released the next day with a court date for the property damage charge. My parents kept pressuring me to drop the charges, saying it would ruin her future and that I was being heartless. I stood my ground because, honestly, I was done with her crossing every boundary I set. The clothes she destroyed were worth over $1,500, and I'm not in a position to just eat that kind of loss. A few days ago, we had a family meeting to sort things out. My sister showed up acting all remorseful, saying she was stressed and didn't mean to hurt me that bad. But when I asked her to explain why she targeted my favorite pieces and smirked about it, she got defensive and started blaming me again, saying I flaunt my stuff and make her feel inferior. It felt like a half-assed apology at best. Here's where things took a turn. My parents offered to cover the cost of the clothes if I agreed to drop the charges. I was torn because replacing everything would be a huge relief, but I also didn't want her to think she could just buy her way out of consequences. After some back and forth, I agreed to a compromise. They'd pay for the damages and I'd drop the charges, but only if she moved out and went to therapy to deal with whatever's driving her behavior. She wasn't happy about it, but my parents backed me up. Finally. She's moving back in with our parents this weekend, and they've already replaced about half the clothes. I'm still waiting on the rest, but I'm keeping my receipts and screenshots of our agreement just in case. I also got a better lock for my room and a cheap security camera for extra peace of mind. I'm still processing how I feel about all this. Part of me feels bad for how it went down, but another part thinks she needed a wake-up call. Thanks again for all the perspectives. It really helped me. Your sister completely crossed the line by destroying your belongings. It's one thing to borrow clothes without asking, but intentionally damage them out of spite is something else entirely. It's understandable that you'd want to take action after that. And then there's your parents. It's easy for them to say she's just a kid when it's not their stuff getting ruined. At the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself, and you did just that. What do you think? Did OP blow things out of proportion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Up next, don't mix business with pleasure. Am I the a-hole for destroying my ex's business partner's course after she iced me out? So I, 33 female, am a financial influencer. I help women invest, plan, and boss up their finances. I've built a solid rep, like recognized on the street solid, not flexing, just setting the scene. A while back, two real estate friends, let's call them Laura and Natalie, pitched me a women-led investing course. Given my childhood, dad disappeared, mom left to raise 4 kids solo, financial independence for women is my ride-or-die mission, so of course I said yes. The course crushed it. Natalie also has a kick-ass following, so we filled spots fast and had a wait list. But after one course, Natalie tapped out. Public speaking wasn't her jam. Sad, but understandable. Enter Tanya, Laura's ambitious real estate buddy who really wanted in. Read, she wanted my audience. Laura and I let her join. Tanya did sales. Laura handled money, and I built the tech. Website automations, mailing lists, you name it. We all did marketing, but since Tanya and Laura don't really have a following, about 70% of leads came from me. but red flags. Customers warned me Tanya had shady business dealings, but she explained it away and I, foolishly, let it slide. Then, Tanya and Laura pitched buying a property together. Turns out they expected me to pay full price plus their full finder's fee for something they'd already do themselves. It wasn't very friendly and really pissed me off since I helped them both out before for free. So I declined but stayed on for the course. That's when Tanya started steering the course into let's upsell everything territory. I was about helping women. She was about making bank. We clashed hard. Refunds, bringing men into the course, affiliate payments, you name it. Laura played neutral Switzerland while Tanya bulldozed ahead. Eventually, I'd had enough. I told them I was stepping back, citing work and family, even though it was mostly Tanya steamrolling me. I trained Laura on the systems and tried to exit gracefully without needless drama. Fast forward to the final course celebration. Tanya and Laura blindsided me on stage by announcing a huge reunion conference with my face plastered everywhere, without even telling me. Awkward isn't the word. The irony? They did ask if I was cool to pitch personal consults at the final meeting, and I gave them the green light. Didn't realize I was approving the backstab special. Furious and humiliated, I confronted them. Laura immediately apologized. Tanya? Deadpan told me it was none of my business because I chose to leave. Basically, she told me the business is hers now. I have zero say, and I'm the wicked witch for daring to walk away. I usually keep it classy, but this broke me. I snapped. The friendship? Fake. Tanya? About as emotionally available as a brick wall. So here's why I might be the a-hole. Since we never had a contract, we were friends, I got up and left, leaving them shocked and with the bill. Shut down the website, hosted on my server, pulled my followers from the mailing list, and dismantled the automations I built. I didn't touch what they contributed, but I did pull out everything that was mine, essentially cutting the business to 30% of its former glory. Now I'm sitting here wondering, was I safeguarding my work or just serving up some gourmet-level pettiness? Update. First off, huge thanks for your support. It really helped me to think clearly. I felt guilty at first about reclaiming my business, but you helped me realize it was justified and not just emotional. Right after I shut down my digital assets, silence from Laura and Tanya, but Natalie called me instead. She knew the whole story because I'd asked her advice earlier. Turns out Tanya and Laura desperately reached out to Natalie hoping she'd help them access the website. Natalie, absolute queen, shut them down and called out their shady behavior. A week of radio silence later, Tanya texts saying things can't continue like this, still refusing any responsibility and acting like we're friends first, business second. Funny how friendship only matters when she's not in control. I tell her I'm good, but if she insists, we can talk via Zoom. No in real life since I'm still furious. Tanya ghosts me. Next day, Laura calls. We have a 2-hour heart-to-heart, clear up misunderstandings, exchange apologies, but my digital assets are staying offline. Still adore Laura, genuinely believe she meant no harm, but Tanya? That's a hard pass. Zero accountability, zero apologies. Apparently, that info was forwarded to Tanya because the next day Tanya sends a fancy plant with the most passive-aggressive note. Sorry you were offended. Once again, not taking responsibility or even really apologizing. Just sorry I got hurt when she bulldozed me. I sent a dry thanks and regifted the plant to my baby sister's new house. You're welcome, sis. But wait, it gets better. Tanya's sister, Zoe, reaches out for financial advice, totally unaware of the drama because apparently they've had their own falling out. Zoe thanks me with dinner, and I make sure to post plenty of social media pics hinting at a new collab, just to twist the knife a bit. Petty? Yep. Worth it? Totally. The grand finale? Tanya's boyfriend, my neighbor and a pickup artist douchebag, asks me out while they're still together. I politely declined, but obviously first grabbed a selfie with him for Insta to further annoy Tanya, because why not? Final scoreboard? Got my business back. Tanya's sister's in my corner, and even her boyfriend shooting his shot. Life's pretty great. Tanya's lack of accountability speaks volumes, and it's clear you weren't about to let her walk all over you. You didn't burn bridges for no reason. You did it because they left you no choice. You stood your ground and it paid off. You've clearly moved on, and it seems like you're better for it. So yeah, I'd say you were more about safeguarding what you built than being petty. Sometimes standing up for yourself does look a little bit like a revenge, but I'm here for it. Have you ever had to walk away from a business partnership or friendship because of someone's shady behavior? What was your breaking point? How did you handle it? Up next, OP thought finalizing the guest list would be the least dramatic part of planning a destination wedding. I know I'm not family anymore, but give me the details for your destination wedding. Welcome to my family drama. So I'm getting married in April and having a destination wedding in Cyprus. because we have family all over the world and some have jobs where they need to close dates like a year in advance. We sent out save the dates as soon as we closed the venue, back in May. One of the people I sent to save the date to is my stepbrother's wife. Then they started divorce proceedings this summer. I've never liked her. She's quite a nasty person and she only ever speaks to me when she needs something. When I sent out the actual invites, I sent them with the names of all the invitees. So I sent my stepbrother an invite with his name, his stepdaughter, her daughter from a previous marriage, who I see as a niece, and their child together. Her name was not on the invite. I knew this meant that it was very likely her children would not come since they would have to leave the country and she could prevent that, which I completely understand and is totally in her right. I understood that when I sent the invite. My stepbrother told me straight away that he and the kids would likely not be able to make it, but he'd let me know if things changed by the time he needed to RSVP. So that was 2 months ago. Haven't spoken to his wife since long before the divorce proceedings started. Today she texts me, translated, "Hi, the Iron Mountie. When's the wedding? And what hotel are you staying at? Send me so I can check options to come." I'm thinking to myself, girl, you aren't family and this is a small destination wedding. What are you thinking? So I called my dad and stepmom to consult how to respond to her. Apparently my stepmom asked if she could take her son since my stepbrother can't go, and she wanted him to come to the wedding and see my nibblings from North America. So stepsister-in-law started declaring plans already from that request, thinking it entitled her to an invite. I told my stepmom, I can understand her wanting to come if her ex-husband is coming with the kids, but what right does she think she has to come without my actual brother? Stepmom and dad agreed she's delusional and helped me verbalize a response to her. So I sent it to her. "Hi, stepsister-in-law. I sent the invite with all the details to stepbrother. You can arrange with him." I figured, okay, she'll understand that the initial invite was to her as my brother's wife, as in it only applies to them as a unit. But no. The Iron Manta responds, "I don't know if you know we aren't together in the divorce proceedings. My save the date," she actually said invite, but she never got an invite, just a save the date, "was deleted, hence I requested the details from you." So this woman, who I have near zero relationship with, who is no longer even speaking to my brother, thinks that she's still invited to my wedding. I spoke with my stepmom again, as she's always been the only one who could match her crazy. She apologized for opening this can of worms and told me she would speak to her and explain the situation. I just can't imagine what la-la land she's living in that she thinks if she isn't even speaking to my brother and he can't even come to my wedding, that she can. Let's see what the community thinks. 4 months ago. Wow, I'm glad your stepbrother isn't with her anymore. I'd love an update once you get a reply from her. The OP replies, "This isn't even the worst of her. She's just a bit of a sociopath. I mean that in the clinical sense. She lacks empathy and the ability to see beyond herself. She has the habit of abandoning her kids with my parents because they live nearby and she just can't be bothered with them and finds taking care of them a nuisance. Her daughter is old enough that some days after school, she just comes to my parents to avoid being near her." Update. So I had a couple of people reaching out for an update, but honestly, it wound up being pretty uninteresting. First off, I'm back home from Cyprus and I'm now a wife, though in my husband's words, it feels the same but with a ring. Anyway, I don't know if you guys remember, but you know how I mentioned my ex-sister-in-law was a neglectful parent and would dump her kids on my parents a lot? Well, she was glad for the excuse to not have her son for 4 days and agreed to let my parents take him to the wedding. Her daughter is with her father, so I'm sure she was glad to not have to worry about those pesky tasks like feeding and nurturing her children. That's it. She's never contacted me after, didn't congratulate me, didn't cuss me out, nothing. The community response goes like this. "Congrats on the wedding, and congrats that it ended up being nothing. May be boring for Reddit, but I'm sure you're thankful." The OP replies, "Honestly, I had enough people dropping out last minute and petty complaints that I was so glad I didn't need to think about it. But otherwise, it was amazing and I'm so glad to not have to deal with wedding details anymore." The fact that she still thought she could ask about the hotel details and check options to come while not even on speaking terms with your brother shows how out of touch she really is. But instead of letting her drag you into her delusions, you kept it straightforward and let your stepmom deal with the aftermath. And honestly, her not even bothering to reach out after the wedding is probably the best thing she could have done. At least you didn't have to deal with any more of her drama, and you got to enjoy your wedding without that hanging over your head. What's the most outrageous thing someone has done to try and get invited to an event they clearly weren't supposed to be at? Share your stories with us below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.